Glory to God in the highest.
Hi, thanks for tuning in to our daily inspiration. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. And hopefully, all of you will be edified with what we've put together for you here. As we know, Louisiana becomes the first state to require that 10 commandments be displayed in public classrooms, and unsurprisingly, 9 families filed a federal lawsuit against their state's education department and their local school boards, challenging the constitutionality of a radical new law requiring that the 10 commandments be displayed in public school classrooms. Before we get to the lawsuit, though, let me share this clip of Father Daniel Reehil talking about it.
I was reading a great story about Louisiana earlier today, that the 10 commandments are going to be required in all school classrooms in all of Louisiana public schools. Isn't that something? And the governor there made some comment like, I'm very much looking forward to being sued over this. Like, there's some things that are worthy of taking the heat on, and he believes this is one of them. So good for him. And this Republican governor, his name is Jeff Landry. He signed it into law yesterday. And it requires that a poster-sized display of the 10 Commandments is easily readable and visible in every public classroom, from kindergarten through state-funded universities. So, wow, that's amazing. Good for you, Mr. Landry. May the Lord increase your herd and your tribe. We need to have more people follow suit there. Keep him in your prayers. He's going to be attacked, no doubt, because, you know, there's many people who are not God-fearing nor God-believing. In fact, they're working for the devil. And these devil people, they have big mouths and large microphones, and they like to have their opinions known. So this is going to drive people crazy, but he's doing the right thing. You got to put God first and everything after that, and that's what this guy is doing, so good for him. Used to be that way. In fact, even in Catholic hospitals, we used to have crucifixes in every room, but they don't do that anymore. They don't want to offend people who aren't Christian. Well, that's when you lose your identity. You gotta be who you are. If you're not going to be who you are, you know what you're going to be? Whatever the world defines you as, and that's a loser. So be bold in being Catholic. And not that we're going to be arrogant and stick our faces, you know, in people's way, in a rude way, but be who you are. You know, Jesus said, go out and make disciples of all nations. So we got to do that. And there's so much people working against that right now. You need men and women to step up like this governor and start putting things into law in order to make them go forward. So keep them in your prayers.
So coming back to the lawsuit, as I said earlier, 9 families filed a federal lawsuit against their state's education department and their local school boards, challenging the constitutionality of a radical new law requiring that the 10 commandments be displayed in public school classrooms. The lawsuit was unveiled less than a week after Governor Jeff Landry put pen to paper and made his state the first in the country to require all public schools to display the Christian commandments in classrooms, since the Supreme Court declared such a requirement unconstitutional more than 40 years ago. The families who are Jewish, Christian, Unitarian Universalist, and non-religious alleged in court papers filed in the U.S. District Court that the new law substantially interferes with and burdens the parents' First Amendment right to raise their kids in whatever religion they want. Also, according to them, the new law pressures students into religious observance, veneration, and adoption of the state's favored religious scripture. It also sends the harmful and religiously divisive message that students who do not subscribe to the 10 Commandments do not belong in their own school community and should refrain from expressing any faith practices or beliefs that are not aligned with the state's religious preferences. By favoring one version of the 10 Commandments and mandating that it be posted in public schools, the government is intruding on deeply personal matters of religion. This is religious favoritism that runs counter to my religion and faith, they'd also said. They also said that they are raising their children in both faiths and enrolled them in public schools seeking a secular education that does not promote any particular religion, and shocked that as an American and a Jew, that state lawmakers are forcing public schools to post a specific version of the 10 Commandments in every classroom. These displays distort the Jewish significance of the Ten Commandments and send the troubling message to students that one set of religious laws is favored over all others. To add this even further, the parents who filed the lawsuit are backed by the American Civil Liberties Union, the American Civil Liberties Union of Louisiana, Americans United for Separation of Church and State, and the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Both Louisiana bills were pushed forward by State Representative Dodie Horton, a Republican, and Horton has made no apologies for pushing religion, specifically Christianity, into public schools. I'm not concerned with an atheist. I'm not concerned with a Muslim, Horton, who is a Southern Baptist, said during a House debate in April. I'm concerned with our children looking and seeing what God's law is. This is not the least surprising. Father Reehil said as much in the audio clip I've shared with all of you earlier. Well then, let's continue to pray for this and let us not buckle under the pressure from the opposition. And that's all for the video this time. Remember, if you have any suggestion or feedback, please let me know in the comments below. And until the next one, stay safe, stay healthy, and may God bless you.
There are certain things all of us do not like. Foods, places, people. We cannot help that, really, and we cannot change that as far as our feelings are concerned. But by putting love in the will, we can change it. For then our will is subject to God's will, who commands us to love those we do not like. Saint Faustina was struggling one time in the convent with a nun. He told her, "My pupil, have great love for those who cause you suffering. Do good to those who hate you." To which Faustina replied, "O my divine master, you see very well that I feel no love for them, and that troubles me." Jesus answered, "It is not always within your power to control your feelings. You will recognize that you have love if, after you have experienced annoyance and contradiction, you do not lose your peace. But pray for those who have made you suffer and wish them well." This comes from entry 1628 of the Diary of Mercy. Remember, Christ loved us as yet we were sinners. We oftentimes don't do that. In the writings of Louisa, Jesus reveals to her that our love must be first and foremost toward each other, then toward other creatures, then toward the sun and the moon and the stars. Humans have priority over irrational creatures. When someone offends us, we are quick to say, "You've lost my love," or "Change, then I will love you." Jesus, who lived in the will of God, always turned it around and said, "Love someone, and then they will change. Do not make their betterment a condition of love. Let your love be the creation of their betterment." It is this Christian agape love that far exceeds all other loves of all other irrational creatures. It is the love of the sons of God whom St. Paul in his letter to the Romans describes as the agents that set this great cosmos of ours free from its slavery to corruption. It is an evolution of love. We do it by submitting our wills to the loving will of God, by following him throughout the cosmos and all the creations he made for love of us, by requiting his love in all things.